Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, friends and family of the internet, and fellow watchers on the wall. We need to talk. Most of you have watched me go through a transformation since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I feel like, due to the circumstances, most of us are stepping back from the political arena and we're reevaluating, where do we fall on the spectrum? And better yet, why do we have to be on spectrum? Why do I feel like all of us are being led by the proverbial ring in the nose? I want to share some stuff with you that I found today, and I would really appreciate your honest response to this. So as I pull up these articles and these videos, I just want to show you something that I found. This was immediately following the death of Charlie Kirk, the very public assassination of Charlie Kirk. The way that people responded, so disingenuous and emotional. And I just want to listen to this real quick.
What do you expect? What do you expect to happen? I mean,
you're glorifying violence.
Imagine if we didn't see this on the right, but imagine if after the George Floyd killing, people had gone on and said George Floyd was a POS and like that. I'm glad he's dead. I hope all black people get killed. I think we need more death of black people in this country. Do you think anybody would have employed them ever again?
No.
You go out and you celebrate an assassination, you're going to get fired. And you should.
It's interesting that social media is becoming much more callous. People used to hide behind the anonymity of screen names to say they're vile and hateful things. Now they take their phone and they do a selfie video about it. They post it under their own name.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care if they're anonymous or not anymore. They're out there spewing this rhetoric and they're putting their name to it. What has fundamentally changed?
Well, first of all, I think some of them are regretting it now because they're finding out that they're no longer employable. And by the way, it's not just like this is not a problem just on the fever swamps. These are doctors, nurses, college professors, teachers. One of them was the head of a school, like a superintendent of a school system. I mean, these are the people who are responsible for caring for us when we're hurt, for teaching our children, for educating the next generation, and they're celebrating the assassination of somebody just because they didn't agree with, and by the way, somebody who treated them with so much respect and humanity despite his differences. One of the things that distinguished Charlie is that he went and he treated everybody with respect. He went out and wanted to engage people who disagree with him and affirm their humanity.
Okay, so there's all these calls to lower the temperature, right? You got John Fetterman saying you've got to stop calling conservatives fascists. You can't do that. I just want to finish off with this. Randy Weingarten from the American Federation of Teachers is hosting a seminar tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time, Teachers Against Fascists.
It's unbelievable. You know, it is a problem. There is political violence, but it is a problem on the left. When a YouGov poll asked, do you support using violence against people for political beliefs? 9 out of 10 conservatives said no, they don't support that. Almost a quarter of people who say they're very liberal said yes, and another 20% say that they weren't sure.
Okay, so first off, let me be very clear to you guys. I don't trust polls. Not Republican or Democrat polls, because I have a master's degree in education. And what they do is they don't explain to you that they may only question 1,000 people. And then that they overlay that onto almost 400 million. To honestly be able to get a clear snapshot of how people really feel, they would have had to ask that same set of questions to 1 million people. Then you would have a more clear poll, if you understand. Now, everybody that is watching me right now, most of you agreed with everything that was just said. If you celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, if you came out with some crazy, insane comment, you should have lost your job. But What about when Republicans do it? Let's hear what Charlie Kirk's own best friend, Kolvet, and our vice president, JD Vance, feels about when Republicans say inappropriate things.
Of partnering with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA.
You're making a little bit of news here yesterday on X, formerly known as Twitter, about this Politico story. But I think it ties in because we're talking about the celebratory nature of some, not many, maybe not most, but some. And it was disgusting about Charlie's assassination. There is a story, and I believe the two stories are connected, that came out of Politico yesterday. Blake, explain this for our audience, for those who...
Now, let me explain it to you before they explain it to you. Friends and family, both the extreme right and the extreme left are being turned against each other. There is some evidence, though it is very hard to find, that George Soros, who is funding both Antifa and Maga. I know that this is uncomfortable for some of you, and I'm asking you to expand your brain a bit. And it's hard to do when you are living in an echo chamber of your own thoughts all day, when you only listen to people that you 100% agree with 24/7. It is hard to expand your brain. I understand that. However, they started this by talking about people who got fired for commenting, I dare say, inappropriately about the death of Charlie Kirk. But they're going to go and defend Republican politicians for really horrific comments. Listen.
Don't know.
We don't need to wallow in it too much, but so Politico has a story where somehow they got their hands on something like 28,000 messages in some group chat of, I think, 12 people that nobody's ever heard of, but they decided to just publish every single thing in this chat, whatever they found that they thought was the most salacious. And I think 10 years ago, there would have been a very different response to it. But people are starting to learn from this, and the vice president is one of the reasons why. So you tweeted this. This is far worse than... So what you did is, instead of reacting to the story itself, you just posted what Jay Jones, our friend in Virginia who's running for AG as the Democrat, had said, where he wanted his political opponents to die, and then when someone thought he might be kidding, he called to make it clear, actually it wasn't a joke, I was serious. That's how people change their mind. And you just pointed out, quote, this is far worse than anything said in any college group chat, and the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. I refuse to...
Just to let you guys know, they keep referring to these as boys and college students. They ranged from 18 to 40 in this leaked group chat.
The vice president is...
And I find it very telling that America is now ignoring what is happening. MAGA is ignoring what is happening under their nose with these young boys because JD Vance told us to. What was leaked, what Politico came out with, friends and family, was a text chat with like 28,000 comments. Thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. One of them literally typed, and you can see it here in blue on your screen, great. If you're on a phone, you can expand like this. Great, I love Hitler. You're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Also, we are officially under consideration for a Trump endorsement. I'll go to the zoo if I want to watch monkeys play ball. And actually, that one comment was in response to someone saying, hey, are you going to watch the NBA tonight? And he said, I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball. This girl is fully, and it started R and the D and they left raped. Okay. Boom, they're dead. It was RAPE. When do we start bullying, dude? They love the watermelon people. Are we really gonna act like this was nothing? Like this was 12-year-olds? Are you seriously going to say, well, look, this is bad, but look what the left is doing? What am I seeing? I'm seeing adults, supposedly the morally correct group, right? Because that's what conservatives are, right? We're the correct ones. We are the morally superior group. We trust God. We're supposed to be following a higher power, whether that's Jesus or Muhammad or Hinduism, whatever, right? As far as turning point, could be the Mormon Jesus, but whatever. We're supposed to be the better than you group. And everybody is going to say, well, I mean, this is nobody. These do not represent Republicans, but they do, because I've seen very large Republican podcasters denying the Holocaust.
It's one of the reasons why. So you tweeted this. This is far worse than... So what you did is, instead of reacting to the story itself, you just posted what Jay Jones, our friend in Virginia who's running for AG as the Democrat, had said, where he wanted his political opponents to die, and then when someone thought he might be kidding, he called to, make it clear, actually it wasn't a joke, I was serious. That's how people change their mind. And you just pointed out, quote, this is far worse than anything said in any college group chat, and the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence. And
so this is a tactic that I see both sides do. Well, look, we're wrong, but we're not going to admit it. Instead, we're going to pull up something that the conservatives did, and we're going to point to it and go, but look what they did. Don't you think we have a right to get them back? And that's exactly what J.D. Vance did. A morally correct person would say, you know what? I condemn both sides. Why can't Maga say that? Why can't the people who think that they're saving America sit down and say, you know what? We've got a problem when a group chat can be this disgusting, and these are supposed to be the up-and-coming Republican candidates. Let me tell y'all what's fixing to happen in America. When the Democrats get back in power in 2028, when they get back in power, it's going to be horrific for conservatives. They're going to lose jobs. They're going to be punished on social media. They're going to have their accounts taken down. They're going to be hounded. I know that's hard for a lot of you to understand. You're going, what do you mean, Sam? What do you mean? I'm trying to tell you that we're going to be punished for overlooking the fascism that is growing on our side. And all of us are going to be punished en masse for the idiots like J.D. Vance. They go, look, I see the group chat of what do you call them? College group. That was not a college group. There was 40-year-olds in that group text saying that ridiculous crap. There were also women in there. Funny thing, they were all white. So you can defend and be on JD's side and call the ones of us who would like to see these people punished as pearl clutching. But for the rest of us, we see the writing on the wall. We understand that what's fixing to happen in this country is going to be so bad, you guys.
we have 14 million views on that.
Yeah.
And
Just a little viral, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll let the tweet speak for itself. I'll say a couple of additional things. First of all, a person who is very politically powerful, who is about to become one of the most powerful law enforcement officers in the country, that person seriously wishing for political violence and political assassination is 1,000 times worse than what a bunch of young people, a bunch of kids say in a group chat, however.
You see how he twists the truth and the life, and why is he always wearing eyeliner? JD, are you gay? I'm sick of looking at you with eyeliner on, dude. It's like a stinking chameleon. Let me tell you something. No, I don't think an attorney general in this country that believes in political violence should ever get power. Ever. Ever. All right? So let me just clarify that for the ones who are going to defend JD. Second, it is not 1,000 times worse than what these idiots in the group chat said, Republicans. Stop letting them tell you what's worse. Go look at it yourself. You got one person running for political office on the left who agrees with political violence. You've got 12 admitted racist Republican men and women calling Black people watermelon people and talking about putting the rest of us who don't vote with them in gas chambers. No, it's not 1,000 times worse, JD. Stop allowing these people to steal your humanity. Hold both sides accountable. You cannot be a Christian and be this blind to the manipulation of these people. We have a statue of a woman wearing a blindfold, and she's holding the weights and balances, you know, the scales in this country for a reason. You know, I kept hearing that the Biden regime was going after conservatives, but I also now see conservatives going after the other party. They both do it, and they both need to stop. It's anti-constitutional, America.
However offensive it might be, that's just reality. And if you allow yourself to be distracted by this person's incredible endorsement, disgusting endorsement of political assassination by focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But there's another.
Look at his face right now. Do you really want that man as your president? Look at him. Grow up. Grow up. If you're upset that 12 kids aged 40, we're talking about throwing people that didn't vote their way into gas chambers. The problem is you. You are not falling in line. I got news for you, JD. I will fight with everything in me to keep you out of the White House. This man is not who y'all think he is.
Angle to this that I just have to be honest about. I mean, I'm like an old guy at this point. I'm 41 years old. I have 3 kids.
Okay, hold on. I'm like an old guy. I'm 41. I've got 3 kids. So the other people in the group chat that are 40 years old, JD, you just call them kids. You call them boys. Y'all see how they twist the truth? You don't have to believe me. Go look up the ages of each person that was named in the group chat. That's your homework for today. Go look up their names, their ages, and what position they hold in the Republican Party. And then come back and re-listen to what JD just said to you.
You know, I grew up in a different world, right? Where not most of the stupid things that I did when I was a teenager and a young adult, they're not on the internet.
He's lying to you. The internet came out when I was in high school, and I am 10, maybe 11 years older than JD. And cell phones came out just a few years later. The internet has been around most of his life.
I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But
I'm going to teach my sons not to put things in group chat because it may come back to bite them when some scumbag releases what jerks I've raised. Instead, I'm going to tell them to create a secret society where they can be racist and misogynistic and talk about raping women and throwing people in gas chambers where it can't be seen by millions of people because I'm JD Vance and I am all powerful.
But the reality is that kids do stupid things.
Again, as a 40-year-old man, a kid, JD, I cannot believe how many people will never go look at what these adults said. Not one of them were technically a child. And how many people just believed JD Vance. Come on, guys. We are conservatives. We are better than this. We have to hold everybody to a higher standard. It is not okay what they said.
Especially young boys, they tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And
So now let me connect with my redneck people out there that, are a little racist on the downside. And let me just share, you guys know they really didn't mean what they said. So here is what was actually some of the things that were said. It's pretty bad. Let me go up here. I want to show you guys something. Hold on.
Board of Directors for the Young Republican National Federation issued a statement today saying, "We are appalled by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the Politico article published today." If you don't know what they're talking about the exclusive new reporting from Politico today, where leaked messages exposed the Young Republicans' racist chat, where they actually also said they love Hitler. In this chat, they also referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They even talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and applauding Republicans who they believed support slavery. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, who by the way looks like this, used both variations of the N-word more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans, who no joke, fucking looks like this, referred to rape as epic. When they were talking about the Spanish coming to colonize the indigenous populations, they said the Spanish came to America and had sex with every single woman. One guy said sex. It was rape. He said epic. Peter Ginta, who at the time was the chair of the same organization, and yeah bitch, we put a name to motherfucking faces, was talking about an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Federation, and he said everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. PG, Peter Ginta, we only want the true believers. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We gotta pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in, take a nice shower and relax. Boom, they're dead. And it makes sense that they like the idea of gas chambers, because one guy said, he did say, my delegates that I will bring will vote for the most right-wing person. And then Peter Ginta said, great, I love Hitler. The bottom line is this, fuck the gas.
Bottom line is this. Every Antifa lover out there is going to believe we're all like this. So these are the children, the young boys that JD Vance was defending. We got Peter, we got Joe, we got Alex. Do any of these look like babies? Look at this guy, Luke, down here with his cowboy hat on. Yeehaw. And look, we got a female right up in the middle of it. Got to stop making excuses, guys.
Republican leaders group whose group chat got exposed for using thousands of pages worth of racist rhetoric, racist remarks, and wanting to incite violence against politicians. Well, the vice president came on TV and said that we have to just let this go. We shouldn't be chastising or canceling kids for saying things that, that they're just stupid saying.
By focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry, focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chat. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's.
Okay, so for the ones of you that are going to side with JD Vance, Did you offer the same excuse when these young kids were on TikTok singing, he had it coming, boom, boom, he had it coming, boom, boom, he had it coming, yes, he did, he only do, whatever the rest of the song is. Did y'all type underneath there and defend that young person 40 and under and say, look, they're just young, they're stupid, they don't realize what this is going to do? Or did you cancel them and try to take their jobs? I already know the answer. I lost so many subscribers right after Charlie Kirk was assassinated because I did a video, I don't know if it was a live or a video, saying, you guys stop trying to cancel these people. Like, we have laws in this country. If they say anything that is threatening, turn them into the FBI. Otherwise, just ignore them. People have a right to their First Amendment. People curse me, but one smart person said, Sam, I understand what you're trying to say, but it's too early. Well, guess what? It's been over 2 months since Charlie Kirk has been put into the grave. A lot of you have woken up since then. So let me revisit that. There were young, like high school students losing their jobs and being canceled by adults who were sharing and doxing these children's actual information for having an opinion on the Charlie Kirk assassination. But we're supposed to let this whole group of young Republicans, right, JD? They're just boys. They're just being edgy. I didn't hear him say that when they were talking about people giving their opinion on Charlie Kirk, did you? Then it was terrible, it was awful. We should get rid of them. Y'all better be careful. They're turning you into actual fascists.
Focus on what kids say in group chat. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And it's something.
Mind you guys, these people are in their 30s. They're not children. They are fully grown adults who espouse these views that are being protected by the administration. Let's go through some of their greatest hits. Dropping the N-bomb, mentioning Hitler, mentioning Nazis, mentioning gas chambers, calling us monkeys and the watermelon people, threatening to gas people, making light of gas chamber. We're talking about watermelon and fried chicken and using the word beaner as if it is just status quo for their everyday language. Like I said, it takes so much effort to be racist, to wake up and think about Mexicans or think about black people all day. Like, that's why you're aging so badly and you look like melted mayonnaise.
That's your chat. Well, we can talk about it. Do you condemn it? I want to talk about it. Wait, so when they said you won't, so you're like JD Vance, you just won't condemn this?
Well, I actually had JD on the show today. We had a whole conversation.
You guys can all condemn this, right?
You need to be focused about your looks, looking better, and taking care of your health, because I don't know what country you think you're leading in your 30s when you look 45. These things cannot be normalized because these people obviously have reach and they're quote-unquote leaders of the young Republicans. And to be protected from the top down at this level is really, really crazy. And like I said, y'all need to be worrying about y'all look.
But hey, good morning to all my MAGA friends. It's September 14th. Meet Kelly Keegan. She's running to be a council member in Northampton County, District 2. She posted that Charlie Kirk was a monster and Eric and her 2 kids are better off without him. Be ashamed to let people in East Pennsylvania make sure they know who she is. He was a monster and his wife and kids are better off without him, as is the rest of the world. Hopefully her next partner will respect women and children. That's all she said. But look, she's going to get canceled by Chicago One Ray. I wonder if Chicago One Ray, let's go check out their channel, said anything about the young Republicans. It was an hour ago. Let's see if he said anything about the young Republicans. He posts a lot. Wow, some people, I mean, do they have lives? Sorry, you guys. I don't know. But he did write on November 11th, spending campaign contributions on personal pleasure is a crime. Filings show she traveled to Martha's Vineyard, stayed at the Ritz-Carlton and several other luxury hotels. She was a rep of the 30th district in Texas. What's she doing in Martha's Vineyard? No one is above the law. But I bet he did not have a problem when Kash Patel went to see his girlfriend in the FBI jet. And yes, I know he has to fly in the FBI jet. You're missing the point. He didn't have to go see his girlfriend during a government shutdown. I'm tired of the double standard. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. As a Christian, my Bible tells me there is right and there is wrong. God doesn't say, Samantha, if you're conservative, if you're Republican, then you can kind of get away with everything. And you can be like defensive when other people talk about like Republicans, right? Like when they do that, I totally want you to be upset about it. But you can definitely point out everything that the left does, right? Because the left is bad. They are demonic. They are the demons. So Sam, stick to that script. No. God tells me to remove the plank out of my own eye before I try to pick the speck out of my brother's. So let me tell you again, if you are calling yourself MAGA and you have brushed off what these young 40-ish, 30-ish year old men and women of the young Republican Party has done, but you condemned 17, 18, and 19-year-olds for having an opinion on Charlie Kirk that most of us now are like, whoa, he was not who we thought he was he? Do you see what I'm saying? How they're playing you, how they're making you ungodly to keep you in line. They're making you turn away from what the Bible tells you is right and wrong to what they, MAGA, tells you is right and wrong. And I'm sorry, I'm not sleeping. I'm not an idiot. And I'm definitely not a witch. So you do you, boo. As for the rest of us, right, guys? High five. We're going to stick to the truth and we're going to call out both the Democrats and the Republicans. And I got news for Trump and MAGA and everybody else. You better find another candidate for 2028 for us to vote on, because we ain't voting for a Democrat and we definitely not voting for JD Vance. Can I get an amen? Love you guys so much. Thank you for your time.